Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to City Hall. For those who are in the audience tonight, my name is Stan Fleming, and I have the privilege of serving as our mayor for our city. At this point in time, I'd like to call our regular meeting of the University Place City Council for May 4th, 2026 to order. And with that, I'm going to ask our Assistant City Clerk, Tara, you're here somewhere. There you are. Okay. If you'd please call the roll.
Councilmember Figueroa.
Present.
Councilmember Boykin.
I'm here.
Councilmember Cunningham. Here. Councilmember Wood.
Present.
Councilmember Grassi. Here. Mayor Pro Tem McCluskey.
I'm here.
Mayor Fleming.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's move to item number 3. I'm going to ask the Mayor Pro Tem McCluskey, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Let's move to item 4, the approval of the agenda. This time I would call for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I approve the agenda.
There's a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded. Are there any objections to approving the agenda? Seeing that there's none, the agenda is approved. Let's move to item number 5, which is presentations. We have 3 tonight, and we have a distinguished audience with us this evening for the first one, which is the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month Proclamation. I understand Jasmine Argel. Did I get that right? Jasmine, thank you. And members of the Asian Pacific Cultural Center are with us tonight. And I also understand that we have an honorable veteran with us, Colonel Cosio. Did I pronounce that right? Welcome and thank you for being here, and thanks for your service. Madam Clerk, do we have, because I had it, but it is down there. Okay. Gosh, it's going to be a long walk around. Okay. I think you guys did that deliberately, didn't you? Oof. That's a long walk back. Well, typically we share responsibilities on the proclamations. I asked to do tonight because my mother happens to be Asian American, or was Asian American, when she was with us. So I'm going to ask you all if you'd please come up and join us this evening. So it really is a privilege to present this proclamation from the City Council. All right. Okay, so this is as follows. Whereas the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is an annual celebration that recognizes the historical and cultural contributions of the people of Asian and Pacific Island descent to the United States, and whereas the 2026 national theme for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, quote, power in unity, strengthening communities together, end quote, highlights the importance of collective action, shared storytelling, and building bridges across communities to foster resilience, belonging, and an opportunity for future generations. And whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders bring a vibrant diversity that represents one of our greatest strengths, and by recognizing their contributions and accomplishments, we affirm the importance of unity, inclusion, and mutual understanding in building a brighter future for all of our citizens. and Asian American and Pacific Islanders have contributed significantly to many facets of American culture and society, including science and medicine, literature and the arts, sports and recreation, government and public service, activism and the law, often serving as bridge builders within and across communities. And whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month provides an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the rich cultural heritage of Asian Pacific Americans and their enduring contributions to our state's economic vitality, social fabric, and democratic institutions, while encouraging community connection and collaboration. And now, therefore, the City Council of the City of University Place do hereby proclaim May 2026 as the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and call on this observance to the attention of all of our citizens, inviting them to reflect on the theme, Power in Unity, Strengthening Communities Together, and to join in honoring and uplifting Asian American and Pacific Islander communities throughout University Place. This is proclaimed by the City Council of the City of University Place, Washington, on May 4th of 2026. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you so much. Do you have a photo? No, we don't do photos. Yes, ma'am.
First, I would like to pass the microphone to our board member, Dr. Tina Hodge. Dr. Tina Huynh. Sorry. Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you especially to Mayor Stan Fleming, Mayor Pro Tem Denise McCluskey, for your request to issue a city proclamation in celebration and recognition of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in May. My name is Dr. Tina Huynh, Associate Professor of Music Education at the University of Puget Sound, and I am a board member of the Asia Pacific Cultural Center. From Chambers Bay to Happy Duo Cafe, just downstairs, I have been a happy recipient of all that University Place has to offer in its richness and community. On behalf of APCC, we are so grateful to be in partnership with University Place, which offers excellent schools, in particular, music education programs, cultural programs, and small business support for all API children and their families in and around University Place. Thank you for celebrating and recognizing the AAPI community through this proclamation. It is truly a joyful and positive way to celebrate the residents here who love and appreciate University Place. Thank you.
Hi, I wish that our founder, Patsy Sarah O'Connell, could have made it. She got held up, but I'm going to speak on behalf of Asia Pacific Cultural Center. I'm Jasmine Argel, and I'm a proud resident of University Place and a member of the Filipino American community and a staff at APCC. And APCC, just a little bit about our organization, represents 47 Asia-Pacific countries and cultures and serves the AAPI community. And many are represented here today. 13%, actually more than 13% of University Place is Asian and Pacific Islander, and we are a diverse group of people with unique histories and rich heritage. It is important for the city to please continue to ensure the inclusion and equity of our people in your policies and planning. And we at APCC welcome the opportunity to partner with the city with these efforts and for you to learn more about our community. We have hundreds of events each year, and perhaps some of you have attended them. I know Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem have been to some of our events, and hopefully you have also visited our brand new building that was opened last August. And I believe, yes, I believe you all are invited. If you want a tour, please let us know. Thank you again for this honor today. And on behalf of Asia Pacific Cultural Center, we thank you very much for this presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sarah. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Ms. Lynette.
I'm going to go this way. I think that's shorter.
You should.
Everybody got it blocked with their TV cameras. There's no shortcut back there. You want me to run the microwave for you? No, that's okay. I'm going to be up here.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. What a joy that was. Thank you. Our next presentation tonight is on Mental Health Awareness Month. Presenting tonight is Mayor Pro Tem Denise McCluskey and our new fire chief, Ryan Grady. Chief Grady, come on up. We're so happy to have you. Thank you.
Congratulations on your new position. Yeah. I would like the rest of West Pierce that is present in our council chamber to please come up and join your chief. That's right. We have to see the faces to these amazing people that show up in times of duress and stress and mental health crisis. Sometimes mental health crises are acute and sometimes they're chronic. And people need to be aware that whatever, if it's acute or even chronic, it could be manageable if they would reach out to help. And I know you have a wonderful coordinated care program that helps for those who would like to take part in that to help transition into something less stressful than their current situation that sometimes you have found them in. So we appreciate everything that you do to keep our community safe and, as well as healthy. Would you like to introduce them before I do the proclamation?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that now. So people can put a name to their faces.
Absolutely. This is Assistant Chief Chad Erskine. He is our Assistant Chief of Operations and Training. I've got Deputy Chief Mike Bolts, who's our Deputy Chief of Operations. And then I have our Assistant Chief, sorry, I almost called you Chad, Ernst Hebeson. He is our Assistant Chief of EMS as well as Health and Wellness. And as stated, my name is Ryan McGrady. I am the newly appointed Fire Chief here at West Pierce Fire.
All right. Well, thank you. So let's go. Whereas, I need my glasses. Oh, that's much better. Whereas mental health is a vital part of overall health and well-being for people of all ages, and whereas mental health conditions affect millions of individuals and families across our communities, often creating emotional, social, and economic challenges. And whereas with timely support, effective treatment, and community understanding, individuals living with mental health conditions can recover and thrive, leading meaningful and productive lives. And whereas untreated or inadequately treated mental health conditions place significant costs on individuals, employers, and society through absenteeism, workforce turnover, reduced productivity, and rising healthcare expenses, and whereas mental health organization advocates and community partners play a critical role in promoting emotional well-being, reducing stigma, and increasing public awareness of mental health needs and resources. And whereas we share a collective responsibility as individuals and as a community to support those experiencing mental health challenges and to ensure access to timely, affordable, and culturally responsive mental health services for ourselves, our families, as well as our neighbors. Now, therefore, we recommit ourselves to advancing awareness, understanding, and compassion around mental health and to supporting accessible, high-quality mental health services and enable all people to live healthy and fulfilling lives. Proclaimed by the City Council of the City of University Place on May 4th of 2026. And I am honored to present this to you, Chief. Would you like to say a few words in regards to mental health awareness?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you. First, I would like to thank the entire council for the proclamation and the recognition of this important work that not just the fire service does, but obviously our partners in law enforcement. We work very closely with them, but also, as everyone knows, it takes an entire team to help patients and even providers navigate the healthcare system to make sure that patients are plugged into the resources that they need to stay healthy and thrive. And we are fortunate enough at West Pierce, we have a nurse. She actually works in Assistant Chief Erskine's division. She is the position is our Connected Cares Coordinator. She has a unique set of skills that our providers, our paramedics and firefighters in the field recognize patients who need some additional resources. She works very closely with a lot of the mental health resources in the county and is able to help connect those patients to those resources so that they can ultimately improve their health and wellness. As we all know, it can be a challenging network of resources to navigate, and Karen, our CARES nurse, does an exceptional job at that and serving this community as well. So I would just like to say thank you for the community for your support in that work that we do. Thanks to our law enforcement partners. And again, thank you to the entire City Council for that recognition.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your amazing job. Right. Let the Chief of Police know if you need any help.
Chief Grady, before you run too far off, we would like to invite you back up if you want to make some comments in your new role as our fire chief. And thank you for being here.
There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I haven't had a chance to meet everybody, and I know I'm relatively new in this position. I was appointed as the new fire chief at West Pierce Fire just not quite 2 months ago. Although I am new to the position, I'm not new to the organization. I've been with West Pierce for almost 20 years. I started off serving as a firefighter paramedic. On the line, riding around in medic units and fire engines, and then I've served in various leadership positions across a number of different divisions. I spent time working in the EMS division, helping our EMS providers and training paramedics and EMTs. I spent time in the training division, helping to run fire academies and all the firefighter training, and then after that I worked in our operations division and oversaw the management of our daily operations and staffing and all the things that go along with that, our response to the community. And then, as I mentioned, with Chief Sharp's retirement, he served with the organization for 40 years, which is an impressive run. So he left a leadership void that I'm happy to fill, excited about. I'm excited to work with the community, continue to build upon the relationships and the legacy that Chief Sharp built within this organization and within the community. So with that, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here, and I'm very grateful and very honored to be able to continue this service just in a new capacity. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Our third and final presentation this evening has to do with recognition of National Small Business Week and proclamation. And I couldn't think of a better person to present this presentation to Mr. Derek Zhao, who's the owner of Happy Duo, and Chad Roy from Harbor Greens is council member Melanie Grassi.
Well, thank you for the honor of giving this proclamation. As you know, I'm going to make myself a nuisance for small business support because I'm so grateful. Derek and Chad, would you join me up here, please? Thank you. Our small businesses are truly the backbone of our community, and we're so grateful that you're here and that you are leading in our city. Thank you. I am a product of a small business family. I was sent to college because of a small business, and so I know the importance and the grind, and the city council, our mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and leadership just value what you bring to our city, along with so many others. So I will read gratefully this proclamation. Whereas small businesses are the backbone of the American economy and play a vital role in the prosperity, character, and unique identity of our local community. And whereas entrepreneurs and small business owners embody innovation, resilience, and determination, often overcoming significant challenges to serve their customers with pride and excellence. And whereas our community's small businesses provide essential goods and services, enhance quality of life, and contribute to a vibrant local culture that reflects our shared values. And whereas National Small Business Week provides an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the contributions of small business owners and employees whose hard work and commitment strengthen our local economy and foster community connection. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of University Place, Washington, do hereby proclaim May 4th, 2026 as National Small Business Week in University Place and encourage all residents to support local businesses by shopping, dining, and engaging locally, and by recognizing the important role these enterprises play in our community's success. Proclaimed by the City Council of the City of University Place, May 4th, 2026. Thank you so much. Would you give them applause? And this is Derek, owner of Happy Duo Cafe right here in our beautiful Market Square, and Chad, owner of Harbor Greens. We're so grateful. Would each of you like to just say a few words about your business and maybe life here as a business owner in University Place?
Oh, thank you. Just a few words? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for the city, UP city council members and all the UP staff members. Also, you guys have been very, very supportive for 5 years. You know, it's our almost 5 years here. So we are very fortunate to partner with you to be in this building, very safe environment with your support. You know, you always come to support us, you know, with your friends and family. And we are just very honored and fortunate to do business here. And it's our 10th year in UP, living here 5 years, and then we decided, okay, we can contribute something. So we use small food business, you know, experience as a background, and then to contribute. So we will continue to be here and continue to serve, you know, everybody in the community. Thank you all.
I'm Chad with Harbor Greens. Lived here all my life. Kids went through Curtis. So did I a long time ago. One of my kids actually coaches at Curtis. So pretty tied to this community. Love this community. Always have. Love doing business here. I think about the people like Kevin Brisky over there, or Jack Eklund, or Rob Brunk, people that kind of make it happen for you in business and building and things like that. And it's been a pleasure being part of this community. Just love it here. Yeah, that's about it. We've been here for 13 years. I don't know what else you want, but that's it. Love doing business.
I need to make one more plea. So everyone who's watching, it's Small Business Week. So really, now your job is to go out and shop, right? And to spend money at all of these places and others as well. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Thank you. Is my mic on? Thank you all so much. Before we move to item number 6 on the agenda, I'm just going to take an opportunity. I'll take off one of the things from my report to council tonight, but just as a good plug, coming up is Duck Days. Coming up is our first treasure hunt here in the city to support local businesses. And for those small businesses participating, great. It's an opportunity that we're trying to get more residents, more of our citizens into the small businesses. So I encourage either to be a participant or if you're a small business to be a supporter. With that, let's move to item number 6, which is public comment. And now in the public comment portion of our agenda, it's an opportunity for our members of our public to provide any comments to the City Council about any item that's not appearing on the agenda or the consent agenda. And for those who are joining us online, the instructions on how to participate are shown on the screen. I do not believe we have anyone tonight. I'm looking at the consent or the agenda item here. I do not see anyone for public comment this evening. So seeing that there's none, we will move to item 7A through F, the consent agenda. With that, I would accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll do a motion to approve the consent agenda, 7A through 7F.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any item on the consent agenda that anyone wishes to have withdrawn at this time? Seeing that there is none, the consent agenda is approved. Let's move to item number 8, which is our city managers and council comments and reports. This evening, I'd like to begin with our city manager, if you would, please. Mr. Saag.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, the public. Just one comment. June 16th, which I believe is a Tuesday at 11 a.m., there will be a groundbreaking for the long-anticipated Grandview Senior Living Project at the corner of 27th and Grandview, again, Tuesday, June 16th at 11 a.m. So that's my report, Mayor.
Short and sweet tonight. Thank you very much, Mr. Saag. With that, let's go to council comments and reports this evening. So with that, let's see. Let's start with Councilmember Grassi, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I thank you for those that stayed in the meeting. We're welcoming to Chamber. Thank you for being here. I just want to say thank you to my council colleagues and as well for the Small Business Week proclamation. As you all know, it's near and dear to my heart. So tonight, I won't have an individual small business highlight, but I do just want to encourage everybody to highlight all of our businesses for Small Business Week. And there's not one that sticks out greater than the other, but they are all run by wonderful people. And just to reiterate, currently Washington State sits last for small business survival. And so that's why I'm passionate about leveling up our small businesses. I really feel like we could turn that around in University Place. And so that is that. So thank you for honoring them with that proclamation. I also, per our new travel policy, I want to give notice that I will be traveling to Washington, D.C. for the Chamber of Commerce Washington to Washington trip coming up. I'm looking forward to that. I know that other council members will be traveling as well, but that will be, I believe, May 17th through the 21st, and I'm looking forward to engaging with our leaders back in D.C., other business leaders from Washington, Pierce County specifically, and this will be my first time attending, but I'm told this is a very fruitful and worthy endeavor to take this trip, so I'm looking forward to that. Lots happening the last couple of weeks. One I want to mention is the Mary Bridge opening. It was wonderful to be there with so many community leaders on Saturday as Mary Bridge opened here in Tacoma. And if you are a parent watching and you have a kiddo, you never want to have to take your kid into care. But when you do, to know that beautiful new facility is here right in our backyard is just so wonderful. And I want to say one of the most moving moments was seeing one of our very own deputies, Deputy Jason Smith, was there, and his daughter was one of the speakers as she is bravely fighting leukemia for a second time. And she was there and she spoke to the thousands that were gathered there as they broke ground at Mary Bridge. And just to watch her grace, and then to see one of our own heroes that serves us, Jason Smith, who serves so faithfully on our own force here, knowing that he's keeping us safe and also fighting this home battle as well, was just so moving. And I was so proud to represent our city and to have him as one of our officers. So Chief, we have a wonderful team, and I'm just so moved to watch his daughter just shine in that moment. And I'm praying for her and that family, and I know that she's going to shine through this. But what a testament to the type of leaders and heroes that we have serving our community. It was just a beautiful moment. I also got to be a part of the TCC Foundation along with Councilmember Boykin as they raise scholarship funds for folks to attend our wonderful Tacoma Community College right here in our neighborhood as well. And so many others. I enjoyed a owners stakeholders meeting with Mayor Pro Tem McCluskey as we talked alongside other small business owners on ways that we can help level up their businesses and future ideas. And it was wonderful to hear the synergy from the chair of the West Side Wake Up for the Chamber of Commerce as well that was there. So lots of synergy happening. And I'll just close my remarks with this. Tomorrow morning at 7:30, Mayor Fleming, Councilmember Boykin, the Mayor of Furcrest, Councilmember John Hines, and other leaders in Tacoma were joining at Foss High School tomorrow morning as kids go back to school. And leaders are going to be there present, just handing out donuts and high fives and saying that they're with us. Now, I know Foss is not in University Place, but it is important to support neighboring districts when they have a tragic incident like they had last week. As a parent, as a leader, I can't imagine what those parents, what those kids have seen, those teachers are trying to now lead through. And so I'm really grateful that local leaders have decided to gather tomorrow morning, 7:30, and welcome those kids back, support the teachers. I'm thankful to our mayor and to Councilmember Boykin that have said they'll be there as well. So thank you, Mayor. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you very much. We're just going to kind of go back and forth with the council here this evening, just to change it up a little bit. Councilmember Boykin.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. And welcome back, Mayor. It's good to have you.
Thank you. Always good to come home.
And thank you so much for being able to share. I think it's important to just pick up where Councilmember Grassi finished. It is critically important to demonstrate what it means to care for community, particularly other-centered thoughts and other-centered activity is how I believe the best way we show up as a city. And the leadership that was mentioned is just smart and important to provide empathy and demonstrative care when there's a tragedy, if you will, so close to our immediate community and certainly within our neighboring community. So very excited about being able to just welcome kids and being in a welcoming position and posture to just hopefully reduce some of the challenge or anxiousness that may be in the returning of the students to Foss. Within the City of University Place, and specifically as it relates to community engagement, right here in the chamber on Thursday, April 23rd, we had the opportunity to hear the Creekside Master Plan update. And that was a well-attended, intentional, approximately 30 residents that were clear about what they wanted to do and what they wanted to see in terms of the response that they were hearing within the Creekside Master Plan. And in that regard, I heard very clearly that there is an intention to ensure that natural space, if you will, is preserved. That was the predominant thought without me making any type of editorial about it. I just wanted to say that it was clearly a prevailing thought that came out over and over and over, and certainly had been part and parcel to what the consultants had offered up, as well as what I got an opportunity to hear and witness firsthand. Mayor Pro Tem McCluskey was there also masterfully handling different questions regarding concerns about parks in general. Some of it had to do with security, some of it had to do with the expectation of how we might handle any potential changes that would come forward after what they had gotten the opportunity to hear in terms of first-hand update. And I'll let Mayor Pro Tem McCluskey speak to that. I'm confident that she will. Also wanted to affirm that inside of the efforts, it has been already mentioned that the Tacoma City, the Tacoma Community College luncheon, well attended. Councilmember Grassi was exactly right. It's just a wonderful way to ensure that leadership across our spaces not only convene for a worthy cause, but it's a really good chance to make sure that you get conversations that you normally would have to probably pay good money for, because there's so many people that lean into a great cause. You can't get to all of them, but what's really cool about it is when there's intentionality efforts in University Place, if you show up, they get to you. And so being inundated with those types of engagements and questions and conversations about what's next and what's University Place doing now, the things that we have been sharing more recently in chambers, whether it's around our youth recreation efforts or whether it's been about the anticipation of our Arts and Culture Commission, those things are resonating in the community, and they just enjoy having touch points to be able to lean a little closer and have those conversations. Also wanted to affirm that based upon retreat engagement and specifically Mayor Fleming's expectation, there's been the beginning of 3 ad hoc committees of work that has begun. We had the opportunity to begin that work in 2 of those ad hoc committees. Since we convened last, I got the opportunity to share engagement specifically with council members Wood, as well as council member
Cunningham.
Okay, it happens to all of us.
So I'm trying to make sure that I don't make any disrespectful, unintentional comments by not going by first name. So to that extent, I apologize. But certainly the expectation of the engagement is that the ad hoc committees have gotten underway. Long and short of it, we've got one more that's going to start here on May the 11th, and I'm not going to belabor that. This internal opportunity to refine and affirm some efficiencies that, again, has been identified by Mayor Fleming. And then the last thing I just wanted to reiterate is also wanted to declare the expectation that's also been mentioned about the Washington trip. It's a wonderful effort, again, to gain access in Washington with a unified, strategic way that this region and community enters into Washington, D.C., with the expectation of how do we make not just University Place better, certainly our expectation and our priorities, but also what do we do across the region that ensures that as we've got undivided attention and expectation of how we can bring an enriched joy and an enriched level of quality living to our space, it's going to be a real good time to be able to coalesce and move that forward. So that's what I see as the most important thing since we had a chance to engage last on the 20th. And thank you, as always, Mayor, for the time to report out.
Thank you, Councilmember Boykin. Councilmember Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. So, yes, I was part of that committee, but Councilmember Boykin has described it well, so I'll just leave that one there. The other meeting I participated in was the executive board meeting for SHAPE, the housing organization that supports our broader community. This was just a budget review. A couple key points is that they are looking to increase fees to the city over the next few years to get a healthy fund balance. With this is proposed, it has not been approved, but proposed was a 12% increase in FY27, a 10% in FY28, 6% in FY29, 4% in FY30, and then 3% basically in perpetuity afterwards, so they can get the fund balance healthy, and then go from there and hopefully maintain that balance with the inflation. And as far as dollar value, we're paying $15,000 something for our membership this year, and that'll take us up to about $18,000 or $19,000 by the time they're done. So that's just one of the key takeaways for that. But they have partnered with us in the past, like in, I think, 2023 with a long-range planning grant where they partnered with us in a couple other cities and some other activities. Also, they just sent out today, and I've asked Emmy to send it to you right before this meeting. They're sending out a survey on housing legislative priorities. They want to know what we want to see them bringing forward to the legislature going forward as a group. So I'd encourage you all to sign on and take that survey. And Mayor, that concludes my comments.
Thank you very much. That was great. Let's go to Councilmember Cunningham.
Thank you, Mayor. Nice to see you all in this audience of look at all these people. Oh my gosh. Well, like my colleagues have said, we did kick off our ad hoc committees, and we're excited about what that looks like. We made great progress in our first meeting. They made me the chair. I'm not sure if that was the deal, but here I am. So TBD on that one, and we'll be reporting out to see how that goes. Thank you, Councilmember Wood and Boykin.
Thank you so much.
So productive right away, and I think that we are doing what you envisioned, Mayor, so TBD on that. It is Teacher Appreciation Week this week. We're all here because a teacher inspired us to get good grades and graduate from school, and here we are able to sit here and have these great big jobs that we have. So I was excited to partner with the PTA. They reached out. I'm part of the high school PTA, and our city, thanks so much to Linda and Emmy for helping me get those I Love UP buttons are very popular out here. And that's all they wanted from us, 175 of them to be exact. So yeah, we partnered with them. They built swag bags for all of the teachers and staff and faculty for the high school. So exciting to set up today and get that out to all of those teachers. They were excited. Bliss downstairs also was excited to partner with us and gave 175 ice cream cone coupons to all of those same teachers. So it was great to see our community come together to remind us why, our teachers and staff are so important to our district. And of course, we all are, excited to have a partnership with such a great school district. So, it's a no-brainer to want to partner with them and support them. And Bliss also wanted me to shout out that they do takeovers, and so I hope that all the school districts, especially ours, takes advantage of those takeovers where it's a fundraiser. 10% of the proceeds for that said night go back to that said school that signed up for that evening. So I believe that all of our schools, all 4 elementaries, 2 intermediates, are participating in that, because as we know, economically, we still have to provide things for those schools, and so by any means necessary. So it was exciting. They wanted me to shout that out and let everybody know that Bliss is happy to partner with us at any time. And that concludes my council comments. It was a light week. That's all I have, Mayor.
But it was a good one, right?
It was. It always is.
Love that. Thank you so much. Councilmember Figueroa, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I also like to report out according to our new travel policy, very nice policy we passed not just last week, and that I'll be traveling to the Washington, D.C. with the Chamber of Commerce Washington to Washington trip, which includes about 40-plus folks from different areas of Pierce County and a couple other counties, but primarily Pierce County. It includes public officials from the port to other cities and even the county, but also from mostly from the businesses from around Pierce County. The other report I have is really about more of a comment for staff and even us, and that is that I've had constituents request that during Duck Days that we really consider around, like, for example, where Subway, Sam's, the cleaners, and that little strip center, people seem to jam that whole parking lot for the Duck Days, and their customers can't come in and park. And I think they have a point. And so whatever we can do as a city to provide we talk about businesses, we're taking their business away and not letting their customers come in and do business with them. And they're parked there. They're saying that they're parked there pretty much all day. And so it's really not a good scene for them. So
The other constituent comments I'm getting here lately, and I'm going to talk about tons of them, but still, when you get 3 or 4 comments, you kind of take note, and that is if there's a senior discount, and I think this has been brought up, and I just don't remember whatever happened to our conversation, but senior discounts for the, what do you call it, the alert system, an in-home alert system, there's a name for that. It's not a fire system, but staff, can you help me out with the name of the alert system we have?
You talking about the Med Alert?
The what?
Med Alert?
No, not Med Alert.
Life Alert?
It was the one that we charge. We charge an alert. We charge for an alert system.
The alarms?
Yeah, the alarm permits. Excuse me. Thank you. And so they're saying, why don't we have a senior discount for that? So I think that's been kind of thrown around. I like to at least have an answer, a definite answer. No, we're not going to provide one. Yes, we are. We're going to study it, but something that says, so we can have closure on that. And that's my end of my comments. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I think that's certainly something we should take a look at. All right, Mayor Pro Tem McCluskey.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, since we are not having a council meeting on May 18th, in full disclosure, according to our new council rules, from May 31st to June 6th, I'm going to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for the Americans for Arts Conference, gleaning ideas and information and maybe grant opportunities, and to see what other cities do with their arts and culture commission, and to also identify a little more definitively the culturalist part of our Arts and Culture Commission. I have a vision, but let's see if I can tweak it and make it real for everyone to fully embrace and understand. I am so excited to be part of June 16th at the corner of 27th and Grandview. SHAG, our first affordable housing in University Place. This is a huge deal, I think a few decades in the making, and the building will be substantial, but it will be beautiful and welcoming, and a place for seniors to have an option to remain in University Place, as well as there is a senior center right across the street. They can walk right across and get activities and additional services and programming as well. So I'm excited that is coming to fruition. Thank you, Mr. Brisky, for all of your hard work and due diligence that you and your staff has done to get everything to where we're going to be on June 16th. And no more delays. Last Saturday, I went to the Native American Art Market at the market at Point Ruston. One of our Desiree Fagan, she's a Duwamish, a Native American. She was there with her jewelry as well as about 20 plus others, and it was fun to engage and talk about their culture and their art and what definitively is identified as Native American art. There is this Saturday, I'm going to an Up for Art retreat to talk about another amazing year for Up for Art, starting maybe in the fall and into 2027. And there's lots of really cool ideas brewing for that. Maybe an open mic, maybe inviting youth to come and create a concert of their own. So lots of really cool ideas evolving with that, as well as a fundraiser, because we know we need money to sustain the program. Money makes the world go round. And we're just coming off of an absolutely amazing event on April 25th for Up for Art. They had a pianist, a Brazilian pianist, that was just absolutely amazing. I couldn't even see his fingers move because they were moving so fast. And a guitarist that did both bass and lead. And he just basically made that guitar sing. If you listened, you could almost hear words coming off the guitar. It was just astounding. So more of those events to come next year. And as Councilmember Boykin referred to, the Creekside Master Site Plan. And I was so thankful that Councilmember Boykin and I were there so we could field some questions and some concerns and some things that may be confusing to the residents. So it was really a nice interchange with the actual residents that are going to be around Creekside Park. And at the end of the evening, they were actually all excited that the park was going to be there, and which is a win-win for everyone. We talked about noise, some active uses that was not going to come into fruition, as well as some parking and also the road that was going to be punched through. So all wonderful discussion and interchange. I was at West Side Wake Up with our Economic Development Coordinator, Becky Metcalf, and Wesley Wynn. And they did a wonderful presentation on things that the city had to offer. Some of the things that was new to me, but I'm glad I was there so I could learn and also be able to tell our local businesses about all the wonderful opportunities and support that that team has for our local businesses, big and small. I was also we have a resident in our council chamber, Suka Luden, and I were at Earth Day at Adriana Hess Park, picking out those invasive little bluebells. They smell lovely, they look lovely, but they are invasive. So we had to take them out. Not all of them came out, though. There's a lot of them. So there's more work to be done there, but we were honoring Earth Day and all the conservation efforts that it takes to sustain our Earth, and also to talk about other things to help our Earth stay healthy and heal itself as we move on. So it was a day of remembrance of things of how we got there, and hopefully some of the things in the future. And I must say, Audubon, who is at our house, is taking absolutely amazing care of our park, and is actually a park for the birds. And there were a lot of lovely birds singing that day, too. So it was beautiful. The sun was out. And if you ever want to volunteer there, just go knock on the Audubon's door. I'm sure they'll give you a bucket, and they'll tell you some things to do around that property. I also went to a meeting from the National League of Cities, the Energy, Environment, National Resources, talked about a lot of the congressional updates, and also some forward action plans, and also some things that are coming up when we go on our retreat for that meeting sometime in July in Louisville, Kentucky, the home of the baseball bat. So I'm looking forward to doing reports out on both of those conferences that I'm going out, and I will now conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Appreciate that. I just have a few things to share with Council. One, to start with, I had an opportunity to attend the Pierce County Regional Council. Sheriff Keith Swank was the speaker on that evening. And it was quite informative. One of the initiatives that he presented is they're restarting, and I'm sure our chief knows more about this than I do, but they're restarting their division or department on the internet crimes against children. And Seattle Police, I understand, is the point of contact, but all law enforcement are working collaboratively on that initiative. If I misspeak, you can correct me on that. They're also stepping up their work on human sex trafficking here in Pierce County. But the thing that really caught my attention were the crime stats for Pierce County for from 2021 to 2025. And it really underscores how fortunate we all are to have our Sheriff's Department protecting our communities, especially here at University Place. But when you look at all the crime stats for that time period, mail theft, vehicle prowls, shoplifting, sex crimes, non-resident burglaries, resident burglaries, armed robbery, car thefts, arson, vandalism, suicide, and identity thefts, all of those were down. The only one that is up at the moment, you could take a wild guess, is what?
Cyber.
Gas. Thefts against gasoline. I go figure. I don't get it. But yeah, it was quite informative, and we appreciate the work that our Sheriff's Department and here in University Place, our police department's doing on our behalf. And the second is, has already been brought up. I'll just again put the plug in that on May 18th, the council has now taken action to cancel that meeting, as the majority of council will be attending the conferences in D.C. where we meet with our federal legislators there on May 17th through the 21st in the Washington to Washington. I know most of us will be at that, including myself. And then lastly, just to inform council that on May 25th at 11:30 in the morning, I will be attending the new Tacoma Cemetery Memorial Day event, where I'll be doing a proclamation on behalf of the city there, and certainly welcome any council members who can attend to come and attend that. Okay. Seeing that there's no other reports this evening, let's adjourn at this time. We will move to, recess to study session. The first on the agenda tonight is the fourth quarter financial report. We have Leslie Blaisdell and her team, our Director of Finance, and Grace O, the Deputy Finance Director. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Leslie Blaisdell, Finance Director. Presenting the financial report tonight will be Grace O, our Deputy Finance Director. But I do want to start by thanking you for your patience. This is coming to you about a month later than it normally does. As you know, we implemented a new financial system in August of last year, and so some of our year-end is taking a bit longer as we make sure we're reconciling both those systems and all the numbers are right. So I appreciate that. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Grace.
Thank you, Leslie. So I will be...
We're going to have you talk directly into the mic so we can all hear you. Thank you.
So thank you, Leslie. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I will be walking through our Q4 financial report, which details the revenues and expenditures through the period December 31st, 2025. Overall, the city's fourth quarter general government revenues...
I apologize to interrupt you one more time, but you really got to speak right into that mic, almost like you're going to eat it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can't hear you up here.
Is this better?
A little bit. Pull it closer. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. So overall, the city's fourth quarter general government revenues came in 7.03% above budget estimates. On the expenditure side, fourth quarter spending is 12.56% below budget estimates, and this reflects conservative spending patterns and timing differences in planned expenditures. As Leslie mentioned, we are still finalizing our year-end entries, so numbers may change, but they're not expected to change significantly. On page 3, we have an overview of our ongoing operating revenues. The details below on the table show ongoing revenues with the 2025 budget to actual variance on the far right of the table. As mentioned previously, the city's ongoing operating revenues are 7.03% above 2025 budget estimates. A couple of things to note here. The general sales tax revenue exceeds our 2025 budget estimates by 15.6%.
Sales tax is budgeted conservatively as it is a volatile revenue source.
Mayor.
Yes, go ahead. Councilmember.
Thank you, Mayor. You really need to put that mic right, move it forward to you. Seriously, a lot more than that. A lot more.
I'll try to talk louder. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so sales tax revenues is a volatile revenue source, and it does tend to fluctuate month to month, so we've provided further details on page 7, which will be later in the report. Utility tax revenues exceeded fourth quarter budget estimates by 6.45%. Details are provided in page 10, later in the report. Emissions taxes exceeded budget estimates by 39.68%. The largest portion of this increase is related to golf emissions, which can fluctuate with seasonal weather patterns and events held throughout the year. Field rentals exceeded budget estimates by 47%. The primary driver was increased demand for the city's lighted fields. This resulted in additional rentals beyond what was assumed during budget development. Investment interest exceeded budget estimates by 24.25%. Projections were calculated with the assumption that ARPA dollars would be fully expended. Most of our ARPA dollars were appropriated for the sewer projects, and expenses for those projects occurred later than expected, resulting in ARPA funds staying invested for longer and accruing more interest revenue. Before I move on, are there any questions on this page?
Okay, Councilmember Figueroa has a question for you.
Thank you, Mayor. Starting with the sales tax, affordable and supportive housing, just remind me, I don't recall that line item. What sales tax, is that a city, county, or where does that come from? Because that's a pretty good amount of money.
What are we talking about? Sales tax.
That one is statewide. I believe, Matt, can you confirm that was a statewide, and it's those dollars are restricted for certain uses?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, those are, I believe, the so-called 1406 funds, which Council took action several years ago to approve. Those are funds that would otherwise have gone to the state. However, they are special limited use for affordable housing related purposes. And we've had discussions on that in the past regarding potential expenditures.
Is there, obviously, we've been getting those. How much is in the kitty now?
We only get about, 28,000 this year. It ranges from about 25 to 28,000 per year, and it's restricted. So we've been letting it build because 25,000 doesn't buy you much. We need it to accumulate a little bit longer to be able to do anything with it.
What's the accumulation now?
Pardon?
Where are we at now?
I don't have that figure handy, but we can certainly get you the update on the tracking of that one.
Thank you. And then after that is the parking meters. And so the budgeted is 40,000, and I know that was an estimate. This is all new, but is there any feedback on why? I mean, it's almost like half. 28,000. Any feedback as to people parking more downstairs and a parking free parking, or is there something else going on? Maybe the businesses are not getting the business they thought they were getting. You know, is there an explanation to this?
There could be a variety of reasons why we're seeing the negative budget variance. Some of it, as you mentioned, could be due to more people opting to park in the free parking garages. It could be also due to changes in compliance rates. So there could be a number of reasons why.
Okay, so it's just maybe a food for thought is have our director of development that takes care of that to maybe provide us a more thorough explanation on that, get a handle on that, please. And I have two more, Mayor. Miscellaneous. I don't mind the 16,000, 10,000, 5,000, but that jumped up to 64,000, and we're not even done yet. So, or we are done, excuse me, but for the 25 actual. So, can you explain a little bit more about the super increase of almost 300%. What happened in miscellaneous that we got that much money?
So for miscellaneous revenues, we did receive in 2025 our IRS clean energy credits for EVs and EV chargers that we purchased back in 2024. So those credits are driving up these numbers. And in addition, we do have public surplus payments going into this number as well.
Oh, very interesting. Thank you. And the last one is...
and then also sponsorships as well for the 30th birthday were receipted into this miscellaneous revenue code.
That's right. Okay, thank you. Investment interest. My question on that is, of that number that is that line item 473,000 plus? Is that a different line item? Let me restate it. Is that included in the ending fund balance, or is it a completely different line item? So our ending fund balance includes that.
It will, yes. It's a revenue source, and it gained an additional $400,000.
Okay, so when we say, for example, we have $1 million in the ending fund balance, that includes that?
That includes that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay, please continue.
I'm sorry?
Continue.
Oh, okay, thank you. So on page 4, we have a detailed breakdown of our operating expenditures. Expenditures, as mentioned before, were 12.56% below budget estimates. Expenditures in the table in this page are presented by department. A couple of things to note here. The negative budget variance of 38.26% in the City Council budget was due to unspent travel funds. In the Public Works and Parks budget, this included savings in pavement management costs, which will be carried forward for future work, streetlight repair costs, and unspent professional services. Before I move on, are there any questions on this page?
Councilmember Figueroa.
Thank you, Mayor. On Public Works and Parks, for 25, there, it's a minus 20% plus. So, and I know that Parks has always been a contagious, let's fund this, let's get people in, we don't have enough money, even in our retreats. So how do we end up spending so much less? What was the linchpin there?
Some of that could be deferred spending. So if it was not spent this period, it may be carried over into the next period. So that might be contributing to that large variance. But then also we do tend to budget conservatively, as we like to mitigate the risk of having a shortfall.
Additionally, on the Public Works and Parks, on the Public Works side of it, the pavement management, there's a set budget for the pavement management program, and each year they take a look at, here's the money we have, what streets need to be done, how much can we do with that money. Occasionally there's an excess because what we have left is not enough to do another road, so that will carry forward to be, then they'll look at it again this year, how many roads can we do with that money. Additionally, the streetlight repair costs, there's some very large orders for poles and lights that were anticipated last year, but the delivery has taken longer, so again, that is money that will carry forward when those come in and get spent this year. So.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, please continue.
On page 5, we have a table showing police and public safety fund revenues and expenses. Public safety revenues are up 0.77% compared to 2025 budget estimates, so pretty close there. Local criminal justice sales tax is 6.71% over budget estimates, and water utility tax exceeds budget estimates by 19.54%. This is one revenue source that can fluctuate with weather patterns, which can drive usage. On the expenditure side, total expenditures are below 4.56% when compared to 2025 budget estimates. Before I move on, are there any questions on this page?
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem, please.
Yeah, thank you. Why is the emergency preparedness down by 47%. Did they not expend all their funding for programming, or are they saving some of the money for additional programs later?
They could be saving the money for future spending. Much of the savings were from unspent amounts on travel and training and conferences. That's where we see most of that variance.
And I would add a bulk of that training was scheduled for some of the FEMA trainings, which did not occur last year, so that money went unspent. We didn't have the opportunity to send anyone.
Yeah, I was curious about that. All right, thank you.
Leslie, do they have that training this year available?
Lisa, do you know? We haven't heard for sure. We're hoping, but I haven't heard anything. I can certainly check with Jennifer Hales to see if she's heard anything more specific as to whether they'll be doing those again.
I would tell you, for what it's worth, for council members who haven't gone through that training, it's invaluable. I mean, having done it myself, if you had an interest and we have the funding, I'd say do it if it's available. It really is invaluable. Okay, go ahead, please.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. Just on the code enforcement, and not so much about the percentage or money, but are you able to identify or the key factors of code enforcement where most of the money, obviously those are fees that we received from code enforcement, correct?
Are you looking at the 29% below budget on code enforcement?
Right.
A bulk of that is, there is $50,000 in that budget for abatement funds, should we need them, and those were not needed last year, so that $50,000 was unspent. So the majority of that under budget is just that one line item.
Okay. Is that abatement for our properties where we make?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay.
Go ahead.
On page 6, we detail the development services funds and revenues and expenses. Development services fee revenue for fourth quarter 2025 exceeded budget estimates by 6.39%. Expenditures are below budget estimates by 16.94%. Are there any questions on this page?
No.
On page 7, we take a detailed look at some of the major revenue sources for the city, starting with sales tax. Sales tax is a cyclical revenue source and is an area that we budget very conservatively. Revenues are higher in some months, so simply making a budget to actual comparison doesn't give us a clear view of how revenues are tracking. On the first table shows local sales tax revenue by month across 4 years, and the second table shows local sales tax revenue by category across 4 years. Are there any questions on this page? On page 8, we have our real estate excise taxes. Taxes revenues were 9.36% above our 2025 budgeted estimates. This can be driven by stronger than expected real estate activity and or higher property values. Are there any questions on this page?
Javier, Councilman Figueroa.
I think MP Mayor Pro Tem might have had her hand up.
It's okay, you can go first.
Thank you, Mayor. Just refresh me a little bit, staff, and that is REIT, the monies that we receive is normally spent on what? What is it dedicated? Is it something we dedicate? And can you just expand on that a little bit, please?
Yes, it is a restricted revenue source, so it is mostly spent on capital projects.
Mm-hmm. Capital projects of not parks capital projects?
Yes, public works capital projects.
Public works capital projects only, correct?
And it can be used for parks as well.
Oh, it can? Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Okay. Well, I think I answered my own question here. I had noticed that the REIT was down, but then when I looked on the first page, it was up. And so it should align with the sales of the real estate. So it's making more sense now.
Okay. It's over our budget estimates. It is down from last year, but you may recall last year we had a very large boost from one of the large apartment complexes that sold, so we had a nice big month in early 2024. So
yes, okay, thank you. I did a double check from 2 different pages and figured it out, but thank you.
All right. Councilmember Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question on REIT. As I recall, a few years ago, the state approved that we could spend REIT funds on maintenance as well as capital projects. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is that still in effect, or did that get changed?
It is still in effect. We did early on use some for maintenance. Right now, REIT is pretty much booked out for upcoming projects. So in our forecast, we do have that built in. I believe in the next 3 or 4 years, I would have to double check the date just to be able to start applying some of that money towards our street maintenance. Right now, it's tied up in our projects. So,
got it. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Please proceed.
On page 9, we have information on our state shared revenues. Total state shared revenues exceeded 2025 fourth quarter budget estimates by 2.82%. Fuel tax is the largest revenue source of our state shared revenues, and that is down 3.97%. This tax is tied to the number of gallons sold, not price per gallon. So fluctuations in gas prices will not necessarily have an outsized effect on revenue. State of Washington City assistance exceeds budget estimates by 22.97%. Each year, the state gives us an estimate of the amount we should expect to receive, but we're not guaranteed that amount. Leasehold excise tax exceeds budget estimates by 34.30%. Leasehold excise taxes are on property owned by state or local governments and leased to private properties. Currently, the city has 3 tenants that are paying leasehold excise taxes. 2 tenants have received a nonprofit exemption, and there are 2 cell tower leases, with 1 receiving an exemption due to being taxed as a public utility. Criminal justice sales tax is above budget estimates by 6.71%, and other criminal justice funding is up 6.67% when compared to fourth quarter budget estimates. Before I move on, are there any questions?
When you look at the liquor excise tax, does that just mean we're not drinking enough, or we're doing okay?
Well, 2.31%, so we're pretty close. So if you want to help that out, feel free.
Yeah, I don't think so. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
On page 10, we have information on our utility tax revenues. Overall, utility tax revenues is 6.45% above 2025 budget estimates. Natural gas taxes are up 17.14% over fourth quarter budget estimates. Garbage is up 1.47%. Cable television taxes are 5.84% below budget estimates. Cell phone tax revenues exceed budget estimates by 9.92%. Telephone tax is just about even with our 2025 budget estimates at 0.35% variance. Budget estimates for both cellular and telephone are areas that we continue to monitor closely. Electric, sewer, and water utility taxes began in April 2023. Electric is 1.18% above budget estimates. Sewer is up 6.94%, and water exceeds budget estimates by 9.54%.
You know, with the milder winter that we had, what's driving the gas?
It could be due to usage. As we know, seasonal weather patterns do tend to impact the utility taxes. significantly, and colder winters, longer winters can lead to more gas usage.
Okay. I didn't see a lot of snow this year, so I was presuming that we had a milder winter. How about our water?
It could be, but
Water can also be driven by seasonal weather patterns. So if there's a hotter summer, then there's more usage, and that in turn increases water tax utility revenues.
Okay.
Mayor?
Additionally, rate increases and new developments can impact those as well.
Gotcha.
New housing, new apartments.
Okay, Councilmember Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, I think you might have just answered my question, but you mentioned fuel taxes based on gallons sold. Is this based on dollar value of the bill or on the volume of whatever utility?
Gross amount of the bill.
Gross amount, thank you. All right.
Okay. Now, I thought this gas, it was natural gas versus
Correct.
fuel.
This one's natural gas.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Seeing none, go ahead, please.
On page 11, we have information on our transportation benefit district fees. Fourth quarter 2025 revenues of $360,684 are below 2025 budget estimates by 5.52%. As a reminder, Resolution 1054 was adopted by City of University Place on Council on Monday, October 7th, 2024. The resolution increased our TPD fees incrementally by $10 in 2025, $10 in 2027, and $10 in 2029. The first increase was effective in May 2025. Transportation benefit district fees are collected to fund maintenance, preservation, and safety enhancements to University Place's existing transportation network. Before I move on, are there any questions on this page?
Yeah, I have one quick one. With all our revenues being up across the board, is it necessary to continue this? I know the whole council supported this and back when we passed it, but is it necessary, I guess is my question.
The TBD fee?
No.
The short answer, yes. It is all programmed strictly into the public safety fund, so it pays for our street maintenance. And as you know, that's a fund that is very close. You know, we're always looking at it needing additional funding. And so this is a huge piece of funding our streets maintenance program.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Councilmember Figueroa.
Thank you, Mayor. The last part of that, transportation benefit district are collected to fund maintenance, which is true. Preservation, I would assume you're talking about preservation of the roads, and safety enhancements. I didn't think that was part of what we increased this was to, if I remember right, specifically for road maintenance to keep up. So what's this safety enhancements?
That is when the Transportation Benefit District was enacted by the council. This was what it was set to be used for, which means it can at some point be used for possibly some road projects, but up until now it's strictly been used for our maintenance.
Council, I'm speaking to my peers here, but I distinctly, I don't know, maybe something run haywire in my brain, but it was a huge debate to raise these. And I remember that it was all about street maintenance. I didn't vote for this for it to go toward any safety enhancements of sidewalks, lights, middle street, mediums or whatever. It was street maintenance. So I'd like for us to revisit this at some point to give a better direction about the use of these funds, because we decided to tax our citizens the extra TBD specifically because we were not having the ability to raise the revenue to maintain our streets, and that was important. So I'd like to, not now, this is not a study session, but I certainly would like to recommend to the mayor to raise this up in another study session or retreat to really take another look so that it only gets spent specifically for that and provide direct, either we change it to allow that and what does the safety enhancements means, or go back to our original intent. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Figueroa. Mayor Pro Tem?
Okay, thank you. I'd like to add on to that as well, because I believe a certain portion of that was for our residential streets. So maybe going forward, outside of the study session, which I'll concur with Councilmember Figueroa, but to put a line item as to how much dollars go to those particular categories of the TBD, that would bring some clarity to the report.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, Councilmember Boykin.
Thank you, Mayor. Just in light of the comments that I've heard, can I get clarification from our financial team? Are we outside of scope at this point in terms of what it is that has been reported on for the concern about the TPD? Are we outside of scope in any fashion at this point, in your view? Just
well,
trying to...
it has only been used for maintenance. That's the statement where it says maintenance, preservation, and safety enhancements. That's from the original verbiage when the TBD was set up. So that might be what you want to revisit is, do we need to just modify that that verbiage for the TBD?
I appreciate it. Mayor, if I could just make sure that my comments are clear. I just wanted to make sure that unless we are somehow, based upon your reporting, outside of a scope or inconsistent with what it is that we should be doing or what you thought we were doing, I just want to be sure that there is no unintended call out about challenge or behavior here. I just want to make sure I'm affirming that to this point I'm hearing a good report and I'm hearing us being aligned with what we would have anticipated funds being used for and actually funds being reported on. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And before I get all excited about adding another study session, I'm looking at the language here, and I know when we hear safety enhancements, we all sometimes look towards public safety as being that. There's also maybe safety enhancements of the road, i.e. those speed limit flashing signs that we see and other things. So why don't we pull the bill, the original one, look at it.
I have it.
Before we get all that excited. Okay? Okay. Mr. Kaser.
Bottom line, to reiterate what Ms. Blaisdell and Ms. O have said, we're fine. While you were discussing it, I did pull up the original resolution that Council had passed back in October of 2024 in the hopes of hopefully short-circuiting the need for a study session. Section 3 of that resolution essentially says everybody's right. Let me read it for you, so that way, and we can all take a trip in the Wayback Machine on this. Section 3 of that provides for expenditures, and it reads as follows. The revenue received from the vehicle license fee shall only be expended on transportation projects and activities authorized by the City Council, with a primary emphasis on pavement maintenance on residential streets, secondary collectors, and non-grant funded projects, period, end section. Council also recognized in a whereas clause, just to provide additional context for stuff, inserted the following whereas clause. It is, for those who want to play the home game, the fourth whereas clause. Whereas the City Council finds it to be in the best interest of the residents of the city to amend the annual vehicle license fee for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, improving, providing, and funding transportation improvements, including the operation, preservation, and maintenance of these facilities or programs that are consistent with any existing state, regional, or local transportation plans and necessitated by existing or reasonably foreseeable congestion levels. End whereas clause. So going back to the original remarks, I think we're fine recognizing that any expenditures are still nonetheless consistent with the prerogative of the City Council, and recognizing at the time that the primary emphasis that Council had flagged would be on the residential streets, the secondary collectors, and the other pieces, and that Council continues to retain its independent spending authority. or appropriation authority.
Yeah, I think what the council was saying this evening was the safety enhancement piece that's mentioned here. Was that part of the original legislation?
I think if council authorizes the safety enhancements, it's covered by the TBD. So at the end of the day, what I took the comments to be was that was a placeholder for an inclusive overarching term for allowable uses within the TBD, those TBD fees. However, if council wants to expend it on those other items, those are still allowable uses, subject to council making the call when those appropriations come before the body.
Are those safety enhancements limited to the streets, or can they spill over to law enforcement?
I'm going to say it depends on what that may ultimately be. Give me a specific project, and we might be able to have a fuller discussion on that.
Okay. All right. Does that help? Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
it does, but I would still encourage a line item where the dollars would fall within those itemized categories. Like how many dollars went to residential streets? How many went to maintenance of the arterials?
We could certainly get a report on that when it comes to like the pavement maintenance program, when they're doing chip seals and things like that. It's a little bit more difficult when you're talking about some of the general maintenance as to the crew. They don't necessarily code their time. I was on this street or that street, or these are some of the maintenance things we've been doing. But we can see what we can get. But the bulk of it is used for pavement maintenance. So we can get that report from Jack.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right, thank you. Please continue.
On page 12, we have our capital improvement fund expenses and status. The table below reflects our CIP projects for 2025, including parks capital improvement projects, public swim, and municipal facilities. As a reminder, CIP projects are multi-year, but costs are budgeted in 1 year, with the remaining unspent amount being carried over to the next year. Are there any questions on this page?
No. Go ahead. Continue.
On page 3, we provide
13?
Oh, yes, sorry. On page 13, we provide our miscellaneous data, including population, our total property tax levy rate, and the operating indicators that we normally provide in the report. We have added our 2026 total property tax levy rate of $9.78 per 1,000 assessed value. Are there any questions on this page? That concludes my report. Are there any remaining questions?
Councilman Figueroa.
Well, if we can go back to page 8 for a second. And Councilmember Wood asked whether the REIT could be used for maintenance. And so that was mentioned that, yes, that maybe in the, like street maintenance is what I heard. I just want to make sure. And of course, that drew me to a very sensitive subject, that conversation we just were talking about. And that is that we're always on alert about not having enough revenue coming in to keep up with the cost of maintaining our roads. We even did the utility tax, water tax, and all kinds of taxes, the TBD increase to contribute, dedicate. Even with all that, we're looking at in about 15 years of being short potentially. So I think that before, I'd like to at least, I don't know how this would happen, but Mr. Sugg and council, as mayor, as we proceed with, before we start dedicating or at least taking anything out of REIT for street maintenance, we need to take a look at that and where we're at with what we're taxing to see where we're short and whether we want to take it out of this or present a different proposal that would take care of that and leave that for capital projects, even though we do have the, you know, the state legal right to spend it in maintenance. So I just like to keep us straight, because we have all this other taxations for road maintenance, and we're asked for continuously to look at raising those taxes to increase those revenues, and I like to, and then we have this one here, so I like to just make sure that before we start taking money out of REIT for street maintenance, that we really see how that fits in, and how we're going to raise taxes, not raise taxes. Is that going to save us from raising taxes because we have this, you know, things like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Figueroa. Maybe at some point we can have Mr. Eklund, I don't see him tonight here, just give us a quick report on how that money is being either allocated or spent. Okay?
Thank you.
With that, anything else, Leslie? Okay, thank you very much for that report. Thanks for your first outing with us. You operated well under pressure. Alrighty. Let's move to item number 10, proclamations. We have Lisa Patork, our Administrative Services Director.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members. Lisa Patork, Administrative Services Director. And just to refresh for audience members, proclamations was first brought forth at the April 20th council meeting for its first study. This is its second touch this evening. For the benefit of the audience who may not have seen the first study session, the let me turn this on. There we go. Just a quick review. A proclamation is an official announcement made by the mayor or city council publicly, which is read and presented at a council meeting to recognize an individual, group, or event. They are mainly brought forth to recognize community values. They align with various observances at the local, state, and federal level, and they also logistically and operationally help structure the agenda for the calendar year. Proclamations is guided by the council rules of procedure, and in section 7.5 you'll find mainly that proclamations can be brought forth. Council may identify proclamations to bring forward for recognition. They can be requested by an outside entity. The mayor can also provide their own proclamation. So there's a variety of ways that proclamations can be brought forth for recognition. Provided in your packet at the last study session and for this evening, you were provided a matrix that was created by Mayor Pro Tem McCluskey, Councilmember Boykin, and a member of the public who was introduced at the last meeting. Included in that matrix also was a list of historical proclamations that the city had provided in years past. In an effort to review those moving forward, there has been an organizational recommendation to consider them as a Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 proclamation. So Tier 1 are those proclamations that are issued every year. Those include things like Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Memorial Day, which was provided this evening as a receive and file. Tier 2 are customary proclamations that are considered annually by the council, and those may include Cultural Heritage Month, Health Awareness Month, and any other items that occur on an annual basis. And then Tier 3 are the one-time, more request-based types of proclamations that are brought forward. This was a proposed calendar created from that matrix, from that legislative request brought forth by Mayor Pro Tem McCluskey and Councilmember Boykin. You can see easily on one sheet. This would be the proposed calendar pulled from that list of proclamations. The only change made between tonight's study session and the previous study session was you can see that the proclamations for tonight, the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month and Mental Health Awareness Month were added for this evening. The rest of the calendar remains the same as proposed through that original matrix in your packet. And where we left off at the previous study session was based on the legislative request brought forth. Staff is looking for guidance on the following. How many proclamations per council meeting? If council is interested in doing proclamations at each of your meetings, or if you'd like to consider maybe doing most of your proclamations or all of your proclamations at the first meeting of the month and saving your second council meeting for strictly business. The third item that staff is seeking guidance on is, would you like to review your Tier 1 and Tier 2 proclamations on an annual basis, either at a December council meeting or at your retreat that's held often in January? And then the last item staff is seeking guidance on is based on the calendar that is in your packet. Are you fine with the remainder proclamations being calendared? Keeping in mind that there is room for flexibility as things come up through the rest of the year, there are opportunities to add a proclamation if needed. Thank you, and that concludes the report for this evening.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, I guess not. Yes. Councilmember Figueroa.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a comment, and that is that, you know, we dearly respect this process and to appreciate all of the above, organizations, individuals, events, and things like that. I'm not sure, I don't think there is, but if there is, let me know real quick. But it seems like this, when it's presented here, is quick and over with. A couple individuals know about it. Somebody that actually sees it here knows that what happened. But for those out there that all of a sudden, you know, the light goes on and says, I wonder if the city recognizes this day or whatever. I think it would be nice to know if we don't, to maybe suggest we have a rolling index, for better words, on a website, and say these are the proclamations by the City of University Place, January, February, March, and that we have, you know, proclaimed, so that anyone that would like to see if we actually recognize those days, they can go on there and actually see it, and you know, and kind of more of a transparency kind of thing. So that's my suggestion. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Mayor Pro Tem.
I think one of the questions that staff would like to have answered is the efficiency of the meetings, to have the proclamations either at the first meeting of the month so they can prepare the communications and the photographer and line up all the logistics, and then the second meeting, you know, we can have a one-off proclamation, doesn't preclude that, but it will provide that the bulk be done on the first meeting of each month for efficiency. So I'd like to hear from the council what their thoughts are on that.
Okay. Mayor. It was Councilmember Boykin and then Councilmember Wood. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate that the whole reason that I thought it was excellent to lean into this process was just that process. Make sure that there's a guide or guidelines that would help council be able to not just identify what appears to be tier 1, 2, and 3, but also understand that not just a rhythm, but an expectation of how it is that we might celebrate individuals, groups, the expectation behind what a proclamation effort is, to ensure that there is always a balance of community engagement that we can drive very intentionally, that is full of inclusivity, full of expectation of helping people understand the opportunity that we have in terms of being better together, as well as being able to, when it is a magnificent, perhaps even anomaly, we already have, again, a mechanism that positions us to be able to honor that within our natural engagement that we have, if you will, for council. So I'm excited about that. To that extent, whatever it is that could be an enhancement to that overall expectation of celebration, as well as an elevating element, I am absolutely thrilled about anything that either front loads proclamations in some type of foreshadowing, whether it's the first 3 months you can anticipate this kind of thing, because I think what it does is spur community engagement. It affirms us for all the right reasons, and again, when there's a special opportunity to celebrate, we don't have to figure out whether or not it fits. We've got guidelines, framework that helps us be able to just have a discussion among us and then put that forward within what hopefully is a turnkey solution. So I thought it was important to affirm that expectation in terms of how it is, that I thought it was a great idea to put some type of framework in place, and just appreciative of the additional comments I've heard thus far around the topic thus far. Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Grassi.
Thank you, Mayor. I think Councilmember Wood.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Wood and then Councilmember Grassi. My apologies.
No worries. Thank you, Mayor. So just to answer the questions that were presented, my opinions at the moment are how many proclamations per council meeting. I would go with 3 seems a good number. As far as ones that we actually present, I think we could receive and file as many as we'd like. If there's, 4 or 5 or 6 or something going on, I have no problem with doing receive and file for additional. Or the other option is, if we go to question 2, if we front load those 3 at the beginning of the month and there's an absolute 4th we want to present, we can just do it at the second meeting of the month. I think we can be flexible enough to allow for that. And then on the last 2 questions, just Revere Tier 1 and 2 on an annual basis, I would say yes. And on the last one, I have a question about one of them, but I'll table that for a moment. I'm not entirely certain about the rest of the calendar.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Grassi.
Thank you, Mayor. To answer a couple of questions, I don't feel the need to limit a specific number on proclamations per meeting, personally. I also think there should be proclamations at each meeting. I don't love the idea of just front loading the first. I really love the community engagement and the opportunity it brings to every meeting to highlight it. And then I'm fine with reviewing as well. And I do have a couple of additions for the 2026, or questions, I guess, for the 2026 calendar. But I also had an additional question around proclamations, if we were also going to address the process as well. I know there was a little bit of discussion last meeting about the actual process of how we give proclamations in the meeting. Are we doing a photo? Are we not? I would love to see that just cleaned up a little bit, as far as, who's in the photo? Are we all going to do it? And if we are standing down there, if maybe just a simple mark on the floor, it makes it really easy. Just stand here, this gets your shot every time. This is what the dais looks like when you're in the shot. I just really love to enhance the standard of the photo of the proclamation, because for these individuals, it's really about sharing it with their circle of influences, their business, their organization. And if they can come away with not only just the physical proclamation, but a great memory and a photo that they can share on social media, hang up in their business, and it will look professional and sharp every time. It's really easy just to make sure we have those parameters to make this room enhanced and whoever is in the photo. So I just would really like to talk about that process as well. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Cunningham.
So for me, I think that, I like the idea of just having the first meeting of the month, only because a lot of the proclamations that we give, at least the ones that are like nationally recognized, kind of happen at the beginning of the month. And then depending on, the length of the month, or say we canceled our meeting or things like that, that we can at least assure that most of those happen. But I understand that that's not always the case. I think my question is, what is the actual process like? So if a proclamation just happens upon us, or we get an idea of a proclamation, what would be our process to just insert one beyond that calendar? I would love to know, do we reach out to you, or do we talk to Mayor Pro Tem, or do we talk to Councilmember Boykin? What would be that process if someone just brought something to our attention about recognizing a proclamation that is not already on our calendar? What would be that process? For me, I just go along with what you guys tell me we're doing, but I don't know what we would do if someone said, hey, we should have a proclamation for XYZ. How does that work? I think for any one of us, if there was, so I think that would be my only question.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. I think every person here has added something I think of value to the conversation, and it's certainly worth taking under advisement as we go through that. I look at this a little bit different, and I look at it from the perspective of every council member up here at one point or another has the potential or will sit in this chair. And what you don't want to do is tie your hands. Because once you pass something in legislation, that's easy to do. Repealing it is impossible. So don't operate under the premise that we can pass this and we'll come back and change it later. The answer is the probability is pretty low. So that's the first thing. So when we look at how many proclamations that we should have per council meeting, I really think you need to leave that up to whoever you have elected and take us out of the equation. I'm just leaving this generic. Whoever your mayor and your mayor pro tem are, they're the ones who help set that agenda. And if you tell them you can only do so many, and then you have a proclamation that is really a front burner, they're going to tell you, so sorry, we can't do it. So that's the danger of going down that slippery slope with that. You know, the other part of front-loading council meetings also, again, ties the hands of your leadership in the future, because if you have important issues that you want to bring forward or debate, now you're stuck with, I can only put those at the end of the month. And I can't bring them up for 30 days when you think about it. So, you know, those are the things that kind of roll through my tiny little head when I start thinking about rules and regulations, is how tight do you want to bind the people that you're entrusting to lead? You know, and in the future, you're going to have, you know, you'll have different leadership. And like I said, each of you will have that potential to be sitting here. And do you want to be sitting here going, gosh, you know, I'd love to help you, but I can't because I just tied my hands on there. So I would strongly, or you know, ask the council not to get wrapped around the axle of how many proclamations per council meeting. Use good judgment. Use your wisdom. Use the knowledge you have to say, hey, we can, you know, we got a full agenda, we can probably accommodate 2. Or, you know, we've got a pretty empty agenda, we can put 3 or 4. You know, and allow those people to have that flexibility. I would strongly urge us not to front load council meetings, because again, now you're restricting how many proclamations at a given time you can have, and if you have something that comes up that's really important to you, you won't be able to do it. So you'll lose the importance and the significance, and the people that or the groups that you may want to honor. You'll lose that over that 30-day period, because now I got to wait 30 days because we front load, you know, at the beginning of the month. You know, with the Tier 1, Tier 2 proclamations, absolutely, we should be looking at those on an annual. In fact, we should look at all proclamations on an annual basis, because over time, things change. Cultures change, people change, communities change, and what's important to us today may not be important to future councils or future communities. So I think we should look at, all tiered proclamations on an annual basis. You know, as far as for the rest of 2026, are we fine with what's on the calendar? I have no issues with what's on our proposed calendar for 2026. We will certainly look to accommodate as many of those as we can. I'm sure you're all going to come up with 1 or 2 along the way that you'll say, this is really important to me, or it's really important to my constituents. Can we get it on the calendar? And we will do all that we can do to accommodate those. Because proclamations, I think, are important when we're recognizing individuals or groups because they've done something extraordinary, or the event has been extraordinary, and you want to honor that and you want to remember that. So, you know, I would say leave our 2026 calendar the way it is, and if you want to add to it, please do. But those are my comments, and it's just, I want to plant that seed for thought, and I know that I'm sure that's stimulated a lot of comments up here at the dais. But, you know, just be careful, that's all. And I think Mayor Pro Tem had her hands up, followed by, I think it was Councilmember Figueroa and then Councilmember Wood. Okay?
Okay, thank you. I concur about not limiting the number of proclamations and to leave it to the discretion of the leadership team to ensure that we can get the business handled. as well. Everything is in flux, and sometimes, as the mayor alluded to, we could have something will pop up, and we really definitely would like to honor them, whether it's that one-time proclamation or not. I do like to be very thoughtful in our proclamations going forward. I'd like the annual review possibly before January, so that the staff is ready to go for the month of January with our proclamations. And also to have a thoughtful review of it, to keep this format with the name of the recognition of the celebration, the overview and the celebration and the recognition, so we have a tie-in to our vision and our culture and our values of our community. Also to some of the potential activities, if we so desire. It's not essential that we do the activities for each and every proclamation, but there is an option, and there are several ideas that can generate that, and also what is the use of their city resources for that particular proclamation and activities, and also the benefits, so that when a council member does the legislative proposal for the proclamation, there is actually a tie-in to the direct benefit of the community, hearing it, and it resonates with the citizens that these are the things that we value, that we honor, and that we would like to promote, and that we would like to become as a city. And those are some of the things I'm interested in hearing council feedback about. Do you like this format? Do you like this thoughtful process or not? Or you want to change it? We can add to it anytime. And also to encourage you that you look at the proposed calendar for 2026, so that we can have 2026 settled with a time stamp to come back and review what we're doing in this pilot project, and refine the course of the process and the procedures as needed along the way.
Okay. Thank you very much. Before we move to Councilmember Figueroa, I wanted to interject one comment, and I forgot to bring that up, and that's to address Councilmember Grassi's question about format of when we do proclamations on the floor here, and that is, where you put the X on the floor, where you take the picture and all that, that's an administrative thing, not a legislative thing. So I think we can address that specifically in administrative rule, not in legislative rule. Does that make sense?
Yes, I agree, Mayor. I just would love
thank you.
it to
All right.
looked at.
Now Councilmember Figueroa.
Thank you, Mayor. I truly agree with your comments overall from all the sections there, especially the flexibility. I've done this job a couple of times. You just don't know what's going to be coming the council's ways on business. Sometimes it's so stacked. When it comes to flexibility, I think that we never have talked about how we can maybe accommodate, because this is more proclamations and more ideas to recognize culture, activities, organizations, and I think that maybe we should, again, not as a directive, but suggestion to those in leadership as they're trying to figure out how to fit in things is, I think there's times when you can do a special council meeting and start at 6, so 6 to 6:30, probably, where you can make sure you fit that in and still have time without having to stay till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And especially if you want to do pictures and you want to, really introduce somebody, it gives you that without saying, oh my goodness, the time just went by. I think that another way too, because we're talking about how we can really, and I was saying it earlier about putting it on the website, but also we have various events that, like the concerts at Marketplace, music at the park, Duck Days. I mean, there's so many different events that we have. We have the public or even the Christmas tree lighting, where we have council there and the mayor there. Why not use those events to go ahead and do a proclamation or two? Because, you know, especially if you know that, if you know in advance you got something that month that is within those events, why not use those events to really make somebody feel good? Oh my goodness, I'm going to be recognized in front of the whole city. You know, talking about making somebody feel special. Sure beats the heck out of this. Not downplaying this. This is really cool, but that would really even be cooler. But why not take advantage of that? It gives us some leverage and saying we really are appreciative of whatever we're doing. But we have like 4 or 5, 6, I don't know, they begin to grow, events that we can actually do a recognition proclamation if it's appropriate for that time period. And let's use that time to do that. And again, using maybe a special meeting starting at 6 to add that. I just like to add that to the mix of flexibility. It doesn't have to be right at 6:30 and only in council chambers. Thank you, Mayor.
Great suggestions, and certainly those can be implemented as we go. So I like those. Thank you. Councilmember Wood, I think you were next, and then Grassi, if I get it right.
Boykin.
Oh, no, Boykin? I'm so sorry.
I'm saying I just want to be in your pipeline.
I just want to make sure I get this right. I don't want to screw this up. So is it Councilmember Grassi and then Wood? No.
I'm not in the queue.
You're not even in the queue. Then you may leave. No. Councilmember Wood.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say really quick, my comments earlier, I think based on, you made a very compelling argument for flexibility, and I think I'd like to endorse that. What you said makes absolute sense. And then sitting in awe of my fellow council members tonight with all their good ideas, I would also like to endorse Councilmember Figueroa's ideas regarding we just don't have to do them here in council chambers. I think there'd be great opportunities elsewhere at other events where the council is present and the mayor is present. So also, in answer to Mayor Pro Tem's question, I do like the format that was put together as far as it's very clear what the event, you know, what the acknowledgement is or proclamation, why it's important, activities the city could do in conjunction. I really appreciate that as far as helping educate us on why something may be relevant. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Boykin, you're on, and I apologize. I just kept looking.
Mayor, you're fine. I was in the queue. I was just trying to be part of the
in the queue.
So my apologies for giving you the impression there was a need for you to apologize to me. I just wanted to really ensure that 2 ideas go forward, again, based upon the conversation that I'm hearing, and I just want to be sure I'm clear about conveying that. When I said that we had an opportunity to really potentially inject some joy in quality of life and engagement as relates to residents with this process, I was very sincere about that, because my expectation, for example, is that the business being handled by the city, particularly the city council, it actually includes proclamations. It's not as if proclamations are somehow outside of city council business, or that it is lesser or an other action. And so I want to just be really clear about that handling the business that's in front of us is the impact of proclamations, and how it is that we would interject that into our city and the impact of quality of life. To that extent, I'm excited about what I heard about looking at the possibilities of proclamations being even outside of the council, but the council being council chambers, but the council driving that type of action. I believe if we're not recognizing that is really central to the business of the city, then we're missing the whole point. And the reason for providing a framework here where there's a process for that was to try to make that easier as we continue to do business forward for the city and on behalf of our residents. So I wanted to make sure I shared that. The other thing I wanted to make plain is that when it came to the number of proclamations for any given meeting, it wasn't to try to ensure that there was a pigeonholing that may have been interpreted with the expectation of front-loading things. It was clearly understanding that there was a history of a number of proclamations that would happen any given year. Because of that, we were looking at the possibility of balancing how to make sure all of those proclamations got to cadence in a way that suggested that we were being thoughtful about that. So it wasn't that we must have 3 each and every meeting any more than we must have 6 or we must have 1. It was that because we have a history of the number of proclamations any given year that we can look back and take a hold of, to try to do that in an efficient manner or effective manner, the suggestion was possibly having X number of proclamations any given meeting. But that was the only reason. It was never to suggest that we would be inflexible, nor that we were deciding what the agendas would be. It was just to make sure that this is where we typically have been. If we are going to honor the expectation of a guide where there's a tier system, if you will, then this gives us a way to try to figure out, again, just good ideas to move those ideas into action, those actions being something that's predictable and, most importantly, benefiting the residents in the cities of University Place in the same efforts. So that's my comment, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Boykin, and I think your comments are both sincere and certainly your points are well taken, so thank you. Okay. Leslie, do you have enough guidance moving forward from the council?
Yes, I believe so. Thank you very much.
I think so, too.
I just have one comment. My last one.
Mayor Pro Tem, your final word.
Yes, my final word. I am excited that this is going forward on many different levels I've already spoken to. And I would ask the council to take the time to look at the different categories and keep each proclamation proposal for a request for council action true to this document so that we can keep up everything in it over time. Because sometimes, over time, we drop a category or two and pretty soon we have all these empty spaces on our graph. So we could fill in all those empty spaces, maybe I'm OCD, but we will have all of that and then a living history of what we did as a city and why we did it at that particular time. So I think that's really a cool legacy for us to establish and begin.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say, not every blank has to be filled, but I get your points well taken. With that, seeing that there's no further business before council tonight, the council is adjourned.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Now we get to